Hi everyone, Sabrina here with a book review. I don't actually have the book with me because it's not been released yet. It's published on either the 19th of January or the 26th of January, I think, in the UK. I will put the actual dates below because I'm rubbish at remembering that sort of thing. And I was sent an eARC of this from NetGalley in exchange for an honest review. But all my reviews are honest, and I'm not going to lie just so a book sounds good. And, you know, no, I don't do that sort of rubbish. There we go. The Forever Sea. So what is it about? This is a fantasy series. It's a brand new series starting up where we follow Kindred. She is a hearthkeeper on board the ship The Errant, which sails the prairie grass. Yes, the Forever Sea in this book is literally a sea of prairie grass. It is, God knows how deep this grass goes, and it literally covers the land, and we have little hamlets or cities that are surrounded by cut areas of grass to keep away the animals and that live below the surface of the prairie grass. And basically it's, you know, a fight for survival. There's a distinct lack of water. It's dangerous sailing on the seas because of said worms and that live there, and various other monstrous creatures that like to drag you down into the depths below. And the only way these ships actually stay afloat is by these hearth fires. Now the hearth fires are controlled, as it were, by singing to them. You listen to the song of the fire, and the idea is that you tell the fire what you want it to do through changing the song and the bones that you burn. Oh, the burns of former captains, by the way. There's a few like whoa aspects to this world, but the whole concept of a sailing ship, and literally they are sailing ships on prairie grass, is just like beautiful. And the American cover for this is just downright gorgeous. I mean, it's the whole reason I wanted to read this book in the first place, that one cover, that one image of a sailing ship on grass. Kindred, she's a bit of a rebel. She doesn't use the songs in the traditional way where you control the fire. She's more about working with it and sort of encouraging it to do what she would like it to do, but she's very sort of free-flowing and a little bit wild. She doesn't think like other half-keepers. So she's already that outsider on the boat. She's the latest crew member to the ship as well. So she's just kind of find her sort of her home, her place where she belongs, having left her grandmother after various disagreements. Anyway, we start right at the beginning with Kindred turning up after a pretty wonderful and desperate escape from pirates, because yes, there are pirates in this world, as they arrive in Arcadia and discover that the arsehole in charge of everything really has upped his power while they've been away, and there's like no freedom, everything's under his control, which is not good for a ship that just wants to be free. And she discovers that her grandmother, her only living family relative, stepped off the side of her boat into the roughs of the sea of her own free will, and she doesn't know why. And we follow Kindred as she tries to understand what's going on, as the crew try and deal with the fact that they're going to be controlled by this person in Arcadia that they really don't want to be, because he's just not a nice person. He's out for the money. And a lot of it is about found family, finding your place, finding out where you belong, and listening to your heart, but not quite in the way that sentence is always taken. So that's the general crux of the story. I've probably done a terrible job summing it up, and I would recommend you go and actually look on various people's blogs who are really good at summing up books, much better than I. But I don't want to give too much away because, you know, this is not a short book. It is a nice tome, but there's a lot more going on in here. The world building, it's very beautiful, and there's a lot of history in this world that just is slowly given to the reader bit by bit, and you discover what's going on. There's also a secondary storyline which we dip in and out of. There is a storyteller telling Kindred's story, and there's obviously something else happening, but because you don't see that storyline very often, you just get little snippets of what's happening under there as well. So I liked that idea of a teller telling the tale to us, but there's more happening. I like stories that do that. That's probably why I like the Redwall stories so much, because they always start with the storyteller turning up at the Abbey and bursting into this song and story. And that's very much what the Forever Sea is. It's a storyteller telling this story. But I liked the politics as well. You know, there aren't good guys and bad guys. There's just people. And I'm finding more and more with fantasy, we are just getting people being people people are fundamentally people and they make stupid mistakes and bad choices for various reasons. That doesn't necessarily make them a bad person. And The Forever Sea is very much just about people. And I'm doing a really bad job of explaining why I like this book so much. I loved Kindred. She's such an relatable character. She's the outsider. She always has been the outsider. She doesn't fit in. She doesn't know how to fit in. And to see her slowly discover herself and her family and who she is and what she wants to do in her path, it was really nice just to watch that. There is some LGBTQ representation in this book, which is really nice to see. It was just lovely. It was just lovely and warm and cozy, which you really needed because this story did go dark in places. There were some horrific things that were happening under the surface. It's all kind of alluded to. We don't see too much on the page, as it were, but there's certainly the legends and the myths that are going around in this world. I don't want to go too much into details because I will spoil the story for you. And this is very much a book that has natural twists and turns that you might see coming and you might not see coming, but it's at no point are you bored. There is always something going on the page or something just bubbling on underneath. And there's a lot going on in this book. There are several different plot strands happening and character developments going on. Everybody gets their little moment, which is lovely. So I don't want to spoil it for you. I want you to go in and just know that this has got romance and pirates and found families and magic and mystery and legend and more pirates and corruption and politics. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful story. I really, really loved it. It's very rare that a story lives up to a beautiful cover, but I think this one did a cracking job. And I do recommend it to people who want pirates. And we don't get enough pirates, but it's pirates that with a twist. So I've done a terrible job explaining why I really like The Forever Sea. My blog has probably done a better job because that took me all night to write and I re-edited it several times. So, please ignore my ramblings. Go and read my blog. It's much more coherent, as always. But yeah, The Forever Sea, like I say, I'll leave the publication dates below in the box. And I think it's highly worth checking out for people who want something a little bit different from their fantasy, who wants a world building that you can just really access really, really easily. I mean, I loved it. I really did love it, and I don't think I can express quite how much I loved it. And like I say, it was an eARC, and regular viewers will know that I do struggle to read ebooks, but this one I couldn't put down. I had to physically put my tablet away because I was getting a headache from reading it. And it's like, I wanted to keep reading it so much, and for me to want to carry on with an ebook, I mean, I've got one other ebook waiting for me to read, which I think will do the same thing, but it's rare for me to actually sit there and go, I just want to keep reading this book. And The Forever Sea, I kept swiping for the next page, which I really did suffer for at one point, but it was worth it. Sorry, that was terrible. That was terribly done. So The Forever Sea, like I say, coming out in a bookshop near you. Obviously, if you can't get to a bookshop or order from a local bookshop, then there is Amazon. No judgment. If you need to use Amazon, use Amazon. If you don't need to use Amazon, don't use Amazon. No judgment either way. I highly recommend it. As always, your thoughts down below. Did you receive an eARC of The Forever Sea? What did you think? Did you love it as much as me? And if you didn't, that's okay. You're allowed to not love the same books I love. That's absolutely fine, because it would be boring if we all love the same. In the description box down below, you will find links to my social media and my story graph down there, because yes, I'm moving over. I'm leaving Goodreads, though probably not quite so soon as I possibly should. You also find the link to my book blog, where said review is much, much better than this one. And there are links there to booktubers I think you should go and check out as well, because algorithms suck. And anything else that I forgot to mention up here will be in the description box. Please open it up and have a quick scan and see if there's anything there that catches your eye, and click on the link. As always, thank you very much for watching, and happy reading. Be well.